Millions watch, billions observe. The entire stadium holds its breath. 90 minutes, maybe 120, maybe penalties. A single mistake can destroy years of preparation. A single right move can transform an athlete into a legend. This is the reality of the FIFA World Cup 2026, but there is something most people never see. The true difference between ordinary players and elite athletes isn't just in their speed. It isn't just in their technique. It isn't just in their talent. It is in the mind, in psychology, in the way they think under pressure. Because when the whole world is watching, your body responds to training, but your mind responds to what you have built for years. And here is the truth. The mindset of a World Cup athlete has more in common with great investors, entrepreneurs, and wealth builders than most people imagine. Discipline, emotional control, resilience, patience, decision-making under pressure. These are not just sporting principles. They are high-performance principles. They are principles of wealth. And in this video, we are going to explore the psychology behind the mindset of an elite athlete and understand why this way of thinking can completely transform your life. Most people want immediate results. They want quick success, quick money, quick recognition. But elite athletes understand something different. Great results rarely show up quickly. A player doesn't reach the World Cup in a week, nor in a month, nor in a year. It takes years of repetition, years of training, years of failure, years of invisible sacrifice. While others rest, they train. While others sleep, they keep going. This is the essence of delayed gratification. In behavioral finance, this concept is one of the greatest competitive advantages, the ability to sacrifice immediate pleasure in exchange for greater rewards in the future. This is what separates consumers from investors, amateurs from professionals, ordinary players from world champions. The elite think in decades, not in days. Training is easy compared to real pressure. Training doesn't have billions watching. Training doesn't have national pressure. Training doesn't carry the weight of an entire country. The World Cup does. And pressure does something very specific. It reveals. It exposes who you truly are. Under pressure, athletes do not rise to the level of their expectations. They fall to the level of their training. Think about that. This applies to everything. Markets in crisis, businesses collapsing, difficult times. You don't respond with hope. You respond with conditioning. That is why elite athletes train their minds just as much as they train their bodies, because emotional control under pressure is an absurd advantage. A lot of people think the opponent is on the other side of the pitch. Not always. Often the greatest opponent lives inside the mind. Doubt, anxiety, fear, self-sabotage. The inner voice that says, what if I make a mistake? What if I fail? What if I let everyone down? This mental battle destroys performance. Elite athletes understand something powerful. You don't need to eliminate fear. You need to learn to operate despite it. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is execution despite fear. This changes everything. In a World Cup, emotions can destroy decisions. Panic, anger, euphoria, anxiety, everything happens in seconds. But extraordinary athletes develop something rare. Calm amidst the chaos. They mentally slow down while the world speeds up. That is power. In behavioral finance, this is equally true. Investors lose fortunes in a panic. They buy out of greed. They sell out of fear. They react emotionally. But wealth is built through rational decisions. Elite athletes understand this intuitively. Emotion without control destroys performance. If this video is already changing the way you think, subscribe to the channel. Here we explore the psychology of high performance, behavioral finance, and the mindsets that shape extraordinary people. Because true and lasting success doesn't start on the outside, it starts within. Now keep watching, because the next lesson might be the most important of all. Talent impresses. Discipline builds legacies. Everyone loves talent, but talent without discipline is a waste. Everyone knows talented people who never reach their potential. Why? Because talent creates the opportunity. Discipline sustains the growth. A World Cup athlete doesn't rely on motivation. Motivation is unstable. Discipline is not. Discipline works on good days and on bad days, when you feel like it and when you don't. That is the differentiator. The elite do not depend on feeling like it, they execute regardless. Every athlete fails. Every champion loses. Every player makes mistakes. The difference isn't in avoiding failure, it is in how you respond to failure. Defeat destroys some but strengthens others. Why? Because extraordinary people interpret failure differently. They don't see failure as an identity, they see it as feedback. This mindset changes everything. The mistake becomes a lesson, the pain becomes fuel, the failure becomes growth. That is resilience. And without resilience, greatness does not exist. The modern world destroys focus, notifications, social media, infinite distractions, but elite performance demands deep focus, the ability to ignore the noise, ignore distractions, ignore external opinions. World Cup athletes need this. Otherwise, external pressure consumes everything. This is a powerful lesson. Energy flows where focus goes. If your focus is on the problems, your energy goes to the problems. If your focus is on execution, your energy goes to progress. Champions understand this. This might be the greatest lesson. The final doesn't begin when the referee blows the whistle. It begins years before, in silent training sessions, in daily discipline, in small choices. Visible victory is built in the invisible. This is true in sports, in business, in finance, in life. What people celebrate on stage was built far from the spotlights, in silence, in the dark, without applause. That is the price of excellence. Most people only see the game, they see the goal, they see the trophy, they see the glory, but almost no one sees the process, the pain, the sacrifice, the discipline, the pressure, the mental battle. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson from the mindset of a World Cup athlete. Great results are never born by accident. They are born from mindset, from discipline, from resilience, from emotional control. And this leads to an important question. How are you training your mind? Because in the end, your future will be shaped not just by your talent, but by your ability to think, act, and persist like someone from the elite. Because champions are not formed at the moment of victory, they are formed long before, in the invisible, when no one is watching. And it is exactly there that the game truly begins. And in your opinion, who are the 3 football players most famous for having this unshakable mindset? Of all the elite athletes in world football, what would be your top 3? Leave their names here in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the upcoming content.